cursed fate, one that turned a crew of pirates into immortals. No matter how hard they tried, they could never break free from it. They feasted endlessly, devouring everything in sight, yet the hunger never left. The story begins with a majestic ship sailing through the vast ocean. The year is 1720. On board is a young girl named Elizabeth. Her father is the governor. She sings a pirate song loudly, unaware of the consequences. Suddenly, a man approaches her and warns, "This is pirate territory. You shouldn't sing their cursed songs." Soon after, Lieutenant James arrives. He despises pirates and sternly tells Elizabeth there is only one punishment for every pirate: death. After that, the governor and James leave, and Elizabeth gazes out over the sea again. Moments later, she's startled. Floating on a piece of wood, she sees a boy in the water. She quickly calls out to the crew. They rescue the boy and bring him aboard. As everyone turns their attention to a burning ship nearby, believed to have been attacked by pirates, Elizabeth stays with the unconscious boy. When he wakes up briefly, she says, "My name is Elizabeth." The boy replies, "I'm Will Turner," and then faints again. Elizabeth notices a strange medallion around his neck. When she takes a closer look, she realizes it bears the mark of the pirates. Fearing that the crew might kill him if they discover he's connected to pirates, she quietly hides the medallion. Time passes. Years go by. Elizabeth grows into a young woman. She still keeps the medallion, never telling anyone about it. One day, her father, the governor, brings her a new dress and says, "It's the latest fashion. Wear it to the ceremony tonight." He tells her that James will be attending and that she should speak kindly to him. In truth, her father wants her to marry James. Next, we see Will Turner, the same boy who was once rescued from the sea, all grown up. One morning, he visits the governor's mansion. Will now works as a blacksmith's apprentice, crafting weapons and armor. He's there to deliver a beautifully crafted sword that the governor had commissioned. At the mansion, Will catches a glimpse of Elizabeth. Elizabeth is thrilled to see Will again, but her father, the governor, doesn't approve of their growing friendship. To distract her, he takes her to a formal celebration. Meanwhile, out at sea, we meet a pirate, the true star of this story, Captain Jack Sparrow. He's carefully observing the winds and the tide, always watching. Then, back on the ship, Elizabeth is with Lieutenant James. He confesses his feelings for her, but Elizabeth is wearing a corset so tight she can hardly breathe. Suddenly, she collapses and falls off the edge of the fort into the sea. Around her neck is the golden medallion that once belonged to Will. As the medallion sinks into the water, it triggers a strange vibration and echo. Something mysterious is awakened beneath the ocean. Jack Sparrow sees Elizabeth drowning and immediately dives in to rescue her. When he brings her back to shore, he notices the pirate medallion around her neck. "Where did you get this?" he asks. But before Elizabeth can answer, soldiers, led by James and the governor, arrive and surround Jack. They confiscate his belongings and find a single bullet with his pistol. This bullet, it turns out, is not just any bullet. It's something Jack has saved for years. He's waiting to use it on someone very specific. But who? And why? That's one of the story's biggest twists, revealed later. The soldiers also notice a pirate brand on Jack's wrist. They immediately arrest him. Elizabeth pleads, "He saved my life. Let him go." But instead of cooperating, Jack grabs Elizabeth, takes her hostage, and says, "If you don't let me go, I'll hurt her." The soldiers have no choice but to back off. Jack escapes in classic pirate fashion with clever tricks and perfect timing. Though the soldiers chase and fire at him, Jack disappears into the alleys and hides inside a blacksmith shop. Unluckily for him, that shop belongs to Will Turner. Moments earlier, Will had learned that Jack attacked Elizabeth, so when they meet, a fierce sword fight breaks out. Both are excellent swordsmen, and the battle is intense. But just as things heat up, the soldiers arrive. Jack is captured and thrown into prison. That very night, a massive pirate ship, the Black Pearl, arrives at Port Royal. You see, when Elizabeth fell into the sea, the golden medallion she wore sent out a magical pulse. That pulse revealed Port Royal's location to the crew of the Black Pearl. The pirates launch a terrifying attack on the town. They are fierce and overwhelmingly powerful. Defeating them in battle seems impossible, and very soon, we'll learn why. During the raid, the pirates reach the room where Elizabeth is hiding. They find her and say, "You have something that belongs to us, the golden coin. We need it." Elizabeth boldly replies, "I want to speak to your captain." Now, there's an ancient pirate rule. If someone requests to parley with the captain, they must be granted an audience. The pirates honor this custom and take Elizabeth to meet their leader. The next morning, Will rushes to Lieutenant James and tells him that the pirates have taken Elizabeth. "We have to act fast," he pleads, but no one listens to Will. After all, he's just a blacksmith. Then, one of the soldiers mentions that the day before, Jack Sparrow had talked about a ship called the Black Pearl, the very ship that has now kidnapped Elizabeth. Determined, Will goes to Jack Sparrow in the prison. He says, "We need to rescue Elizabeth. Help me, and I'll help you escape." Jack narrows his eyes and asks, "What's your name, boy?" Will answers, "My full name is Will Turner." As soon as Jack hears this, something clicks. He realizes that Will is no ordinary blacksmith. He's the son of Bootstrap Bill Turner, a legendary pirate and once a key figure among the crew of the Black Pearl. Now intrigued, Jack agrees to help. Will breaks Jack out of jail, and together they trick the guards. Using a clever trick, they place a small boat upside down on the water and walk beneath it, allowing them to breathe while escaping underwater. As they row away, Will turns to Jack and asks, "Why did you agree to help me? Just because you heard my name?" Jack looks at him and finally reveals the truth. "You're not the son of a blacksmith. You're the son of a pirate, Bootstrap Bill Turner. He once ruled the seas and was part of the original Black Pearl crew." This revelation stuns Will. All his life, he had believed he was the son of a humble craftsman. Now he learns that piracy runs in his blood. Jack Sparrow and Will eventually reach a remote island. There, Jack reunites with an old friend and says, "You need to back me up. We're going to get aboard the Black Pearl. I'll strike a deal with Captain Barbossa, and then we'll take over the ship." But his friend warns him, "Barbossa will never hand over the Black Pearl." Jack smiles slyly and replies, "Oh, he will, because he needs Will Turner, the son of Bootstrap Bill. We'll exchange Will for the ship." In reality, this was part of a much bigger scheme. Why Jack wanted this, and who really benefits from it, you'll only know when you watch the full story. Meanwhile, aboard the Black Pearl, Elizabeth stands before Captain Barbossa, the ruthless leader of the cursed pirate crew. She tries to negotiate. "I'll give you the golden medallion, but you must promise not to harm anyone and leave this place peacefully. If you don't agree, I'll toss it into the sea." Barbossa agrees instantly. Elizabeth hands over the gold medallion from around her neck. But as soon as he gets it, Barbossa imprisons Elizabeth. He says coldly, "You said we should leave, but you never said anything about letting you go." Then he begins to explain the dark truth behind the coin. "This isn't just any gold," he tells her. "It's part of a cursed treasure." He continues the tale. Years ago, Barbossa and his crew plundered ships across the seas. One day, they attacked a vessel carrying a group of monks. Hidden on that ship was a chest containing 882 pieces of Aztec gold. They stole every last coin and slaughtered the monks. But before dying, the monks cast a terrible curse. Anyone who takes even one piece of that gold will be doomed. No matter how much they eat, they will never feel full. They'll crave death, but death will never come. Barbossa admits, "We didn't believe the curse. We spent the gold, lived in luxury, but our hunger never left. And when the moon rises, we turn into skeletons, bare bones under the moonlight. We are cursed, every single one of us. And if we want to break free from this curse, we need to find those 882 coins and place them in a box. We've gathered all the coins, but for all these years, we haven't found one coin, and that coin was with you. Now we will dip your blood onto this coin and throw it into the box to break the curse." Eliza doesn't believe any of this. She thinks they might be taking her to sell her. Elizabeth attacks Barbossa and runs out, but when she steps outside, she's completely stunned. There isn't a single person. Everyone has turned into skeletons. She realizes that this is all true. She starts screaming in fear. Then Barbossa approaches her from behind and says, "I've been hungry for many years, but my hunger never ends. I've wanted to die for so long, but I couldn't. I feel nothing, and now I want to break free from this curse and be free forever." Then Barbossa steps into the moonlight, and like his companions, he turns into a skeleton. Meanwhile, Jack Sparrow, Will, and their crew were heading from their ship towards the Black Pearl, where Will is told by one of Jack Sparrow's friends that Jack Sparrow used to be the captain of the Black Pearl, but his crew betrayed him and left him to die on an island. However, Jack somehow escaped and now wants to take revenge on Barbossa, the captain of the Black Pearl. While talking, they begin their journey to meet Barbossa, but on the way, they are caught in a massive storm. Fortunately, they manage to survive. Now Barbossa reaches the cave where the 881 coins were kept. Inside, Barbossa says, "We've returned all the coins we spent, and now we must return the last one to break the curse." Jack Sparrow and Will also arrive, and then Barbossa cuts Elizabeth's hand, drips her blood onto the coin, and throws it into the box. But it turns out they don't break free from the curse. According to the rule, the blood of the thief's bloodline must be placed on the coin. That is, Bootstrap Turner's bloodline must be used. Barbossa realizes that Elizabeth is not Bootstrap Turner's daughter, so he slaps her and throws her out. A quarrel begins between Barbossa and his crew. At that moment, Will emerges from the water and cleverly escapes with Elizabeth and the coin. But Barbossa's companion captures Jack Sparrow. Jack says, "I was the captain of the Black Pearl, and you betrayed me. Still, I want to free you from the curse. I know whose blood you need. If you want that blood, I can take you to that person. But for that, you must return the Black Pearl to me." The captain agrees to the deal. Now they all hurry towards Will and Elizabeth's ship. Meanwhile, Will and Elizabeth realize what they actually want. They actually want Will's blood so they can break the curse. The two of them try to save their ship, the Black Pearl. But when the ship arrives, a fight breaks out among them. However, the ship they were on didn't have much ammunition. Despite their best efforts, they fail. Barbossa captures them all, first throwing Elizabeth into the water, then telling Jack Sparrow, "You might have forgotten this place. This is the island where I left you the last time, but this time, you won't escape." And they throw Jack Sparrow into the water too. Elizabeth and Jack end up imprisoned on the same island again. Here, Elizabeth isn't afraid at all because she has Jack Sparrow with her. He had saved her once before. At night, they drink together and dance together. But the next day, Elizabeth burns the bottles of alcohol. Seeing the fire, a ship approaches them. It's the ship with James and Elizabeth's father. They rescue Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth from the island and bring them on board the ship. There, Elizabeth tells James, "We should follow the Black Pearl where Will is." But James doesn't want to do that. However, when Elizabeth says, "If you do this, I'll marry you," James agrees. Now they race towards the massive ship, the Black Pearl. Soon they reach the spot where the Black Pearl is, and all the pirates are in the cave, where they must place their last coin inside the mine. Jack Sparrow says, "I will go into the cave and cleverly get Barbossa out of the ship, and when the pirates come out, you will shoot and kill them." Jack Sparrow enters the cave. He tells Barbossa, "If you want to break the curse and stay alive, you must listen to me, because outside, thousands of soldiers on the Dauntless ship are waiting to kill you. So, even if you break the curse, as soon as you step outside, they will kill you. So, your task is to first attack the Dauntless ship and kill everyone. Then you will have two ships. You will return the Black Pearl to me, and I will always work under you." While saying this, Jack secretly steals a coin and keeps it with him. Barbossa, after hearing Jack Sparrow's words, thinks it is the right thing and sends all his pirates outside. When they step out, moonlight falls on their bodies. As a result, they all turn into their true forms, meaning they become skeletons. The soldiers on the Dauntless ship are terrified because they have never seen such creatures before. The skeletons begin to attack them. The soldiers fight back in many ways to survive, even battling them head-on. But the problem is, no matter how much they attack the skeletons, nothing happens to them. Meanwhile, in the cave, Jack Sparrow takes the opportunity and begins fighting Barbossa. But Barbossa is not human. He cannot be killed. During the fight, at one point, Jack Sparrow drives his sword into Barbossa's body, but it does nothing to him because he is a skeleton. His death is impossible. Now Barbossa takes the same sword and drives it into Jack's body, but again, nothing happens to him. In fact, a little earlier, Jack had also stolen a coin. So now he too is cursed, and as soon as the moonlight touches his body, he also turns into a skeleton. Jack throws the coin to Will, who catches it and throws it with his blood. Will catches it. Then Jack Sparrow takes the single gun and bullet we saw in the beginning and points it at Barbossa. In fact, when Barbossa had left Jack Sparrow on the deserted island, he had given him a gun and a bullet so that he could commit suicide. But all this time, Jack had carefully kept them so that he could use the bullet for revenge. Meanwhile, Will places the two coins in the cursed box, which frees everyone from the curse. Now Jack shoots Barbossa, killing him. All the pirates on the Dauntless ship turn human again, and they accept their defeat. Then we see a scene where Jack Sparrow is about to be hanged. Will doesn't like this at all, and he tells Elizabeth, "I never told you this, but I love you very much." He then goes to free Jack Sparrow. He attacks the guards and prevents the hanging. At this moment, Jack Sparrow notices his companion's parrot and realizes that his crew is nearby. He jumps into the water from the wall, and his crew from the Black Pearl saves him. Meanwhile, James is shown forgiving Will, and Elizabeth's father agrees to the marriage of Will and Elizabeth. The movie ends here. It was released in 2003 with an IMDb rating of 7.7, and the film's budget was $140 million US. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching the video.